Hello. Welcome back to Their Voice Matters. It's been a while. I've been away for the past few weeks. I moved to a new state, and I had a few things come up that prevented me from being able to make content for a little while. But I'm finally mostly settled in my new home, and I'm so happy to be back. Since I've been away, there have been some major updates in a few of the cases that I've already covered. And I didn't want to just jump into the next full episode that I've been working on without addressing them. So today's episode is going to be a rapid fire update across several cases, kind of a catch up, if you will, before we dive back into full length episodes. I won't be rehashing all of the details from each case here, but if you want the full story for any of the cases that I mention, I'll have the links for all of the episodes in the description so you can check them out. So let's get started. First, with an update in the Summer Wells case. It's now been over 4 years since Summer Wells disappeared from her family's home in rural Tennessee, and her case is still unsolved. A newly released age progression image from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children shows what Summer might look like today at 9 years old. Summer vanished from her family's home in rural Tennessee in June 2021, and despite extensive media attention and search efforts, no solid leads have been shared publicly. But the TBI says they continue to follow any and all tips they receive. If you have any information that could help locate Summer Wells, you can call the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Now, let's go to another heartbreaking case of 2 young children who remain missing, this time from Nova Scotia. Lilly and Jack Sullivan, ages 6 and 4 years old, have been missing since May 2nd, 2025, in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. RCMP haven't publicly announced any significant details in the case. The kids' paternal grandmother, Belinda Gray, has recently spoken out, calling for more transparency about the family's interactions with Child Protective Services before the children disappeared. She's specifically raising questions about a visit to the children's home that was prompted by concerns from their school. Belinda told the media, quote, "I'd like to know what the school has stated. Was it just some bruises they saw on Jack? Are there other things? Is there anything concerning Lilly? I think the public has a right to know." She also voiced frustration over the lack of publicly shared details from the agency's investigation, saying, quote, "Just what did CPS do? What part were they investigating? What were their concerns and what were they doing? They might even have answers for the investigation on what happened to them or why it might have happened to them." According to the Globe and Mail, 2 photos appeared to show Jack with a black eye. Their stepfather, Daniel, reportedly said on social media that the injuries were caused by Lilly. While some information about the family's history has come to light, most details remain sealed due to privacy laws, and the findings of the Child Protection Agency's investigation have not been released. However, there have been some new court documents that have just been released, which helps to shed more light on the investigation so far. According to these records, at least 4 polygraph exams have been conducted. The children's mother, Malaya, their stepfather, Daniel, and their biological father, Cody, were all tested, and all of them reportedly showed indications of being truthful in their responses. In fact, Malaya and Daniel each took the test multiple times, and the results were consistent every time. The children's step-grandmother, who lives nearby, was also considered for a polygraph, but investigators ultimately didn't move forward with hers due to health-related reasons. They said her physiology wasn't suitable for analysis. The documents also confirmed that on May 2nd, the day Lilly and Jack went missing, 3 family members discovered a pink blanket about 1 kilometer or 0.6 miles from the home. The family later identified it as belonging to Lilly. Then, 2 days later, another piece of that same blanket was found inside a trash bag at the end of the family's driveway. No further details have been released about it. Forensic testing was done on the blanket, although the results of that testing haven't been made public. Police also searched the area where the first piece of blanket was found with a scent tracking dog, but they were unable to track Lilly and Jack. In addition to the blanket discovery, police have examined phone and bank records, reviewed highway surveillance footage, and analyzed boot prints found in the surrounding woods. The documents also reveal a potential eyewitness account. A woman reported seeing 2 children, described as a girl with dark hair and pigtails and a tank top with blue straps, and a boy with dirty blonde hair in shorts, walking hand in hand near the Sullivan home on May 2nd. She said they appeared to be around 9 and 5 years old. While that's slightly older than Lilly and Jack's actual ages, the description is close. She also said she saw the kids walking toward an older Caucasian woman with, quote, loose curls, waiting next to an open car door on a tan or gold sedan. The sighting hasn't been confirmed. Lastly, the documents include a quote from an unnamed investigator who said, quote, "At this point in the investigation, Jack and Lilly's disappearance is not believed to be criminal in nature." They added that the polygraphs were done to help rule out that possibility, not because there was direct evidence of a crime. Still, as of now, quote, "None of the tips received so far have led to Jack and Lilly's location or provided information that could be corroborated." In the meantime, members of the community continue searching for answers. One local resident has even begun creating yard signs for the community to help keep Lilly and Jack's story in the public eye. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit at 902-896-5060. Tips can also be submitted anonymously through Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or online at crimestoppers.ns.ca. While there's still so much that we don't know about the Sullivan case, another case I recently covered has had several major developments: the Decker sisters' murder. Let's start with new details from the investigation. Investigators have now released forensic findings that confirm what many already suspected. Travis Decker, the girl's father, is the sole suspect in the murders of 9-year-old Peyton, 8-year-old Evelyn, and 5-year-old Olivia Decker. Only his DNA and the girl's DNA were found at the crime scene where the girls' bodies were discovered. The autopsy showed that the girls were killed by suffocation. Plastic bags had been tied over their heads, and their wrists were bound behind them with zip ties. 2 of the girls had 2 bags over their heads, while the third had 3 bags. Travis's DNA was found on all of the bags and restraints, removing any possible doubt about his role in what happened to the girls. He had already been named the prime suspect early on in the case, but these findings officially confirm his involvement in their deaths. Travis has been on the run since May 30th, when he failed to return the girls to their mother after a scheduled visit. He is now charged with 3 counts of kidnapping, 3 counts of murder, and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Law enforcement has received multiple tips and reported sightings, but none have led to his capture. Authorities say they don't know whether Travis is still alive, hiding in the wilderness of Washington state, or if he may have died out there. According to Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison, quote, "We recognize that there is a potential that he could still be out in the woods, but we think most likely if that were the case, he'd probably be deceased. Still, the search remains active." Sheriff Morrison said his department is working with federal partners to explore new strategies, and that he still believes that Travis could be in Washington state, saying, quote, "He could be international at this point. He could be national. He could be here locally. We haven't given up. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia are still very much in our minds." The U.S. Marshals are offering a reward of up to $20,000 for information leading to Travis Decker's arrest. If you see him, do not approach him. He is considered armed and dangerous. Instead, call 911 immediately. Tips can also be submitted to the U.S. Marshal Service Communication Center at 1-800-336-0102 or online at usmarshals.gov/tips. In the wake of her daughter's deaths, their mother, Whitney Decker, is working to change how missing child alerts are handled. A Change.org petition has been launched for Whitney's Law, which would expand Amber Alert criteria to include more high-risk parental abduction cases, particularly when there is a history of red flags. When Travis failed to return the girls home, Whitney immediately reported it to authorities, but an Amber Alert was never issued. Instead, police sent out a missing persons advisory, which is a lesser alert that doesn't trigger automatic phone notifications to the public. The petition explains, quote, "Right now, the Amber Alert criteria exclude too many high-risk situations, especially involving non-stranger parental abductions. We must not let another parent feel Whitney's unimaginable pain. The system failed her family, and it can fail others too if we don't act. I have a link to the petition in the description if you'd like to learn more. While the Decker case has seen potential movement toward justice, in other cases, that process is dragging on or facing new legal twists. One of the most heartbreaking examples is the death of 2-year-old Parker Scholtes. Christopher Scholtes is facing charges of first-degree murder and child abuse in the death of his 2-year-old daughter, Parker. She died after being left alone in a hot car for more than 3 hours, while outside temperatures reached a scorching 109 degrees Fahrenheit. During that time, Chris reportedly stayed inside, playing video games and watching adult content. Earlier this year, prosecutors offered him a plea deal for second-degree murder, which would carry a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison. But he turned it down. Now, his attorney is requesting a new deal, saying they're developing new evidence that could justify a lighter punishment. The judge has scheduled a hearing for September 19th to discuss the matter. Prosecutors, however, aren't budging. One of them reportedly said, quote, "He had an opportunity with the plea from the panel that was open for a while. The negotiations were open. He rejected it. I really don't see how it will change any circumstances." Chris Scholtes is currently scheduled to go to trial in October. However, that date could get pushed back. His defense team has indicated that they plan to file a motion to continue, which, if granted, would delay the start of the trial. Thank you so much for joining me for these updates. I'll be keeping a close eye on all of these cases moving forward. So be sure to subscribe or follow wherever you're watching or listening so that you can stay in the loop. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments which of these cases you're most interested in hearing about, or if there's one you'd like to see a full episode on in the future. I'm really happy to be back, and I can't wait to share my next full episode that I've been working on with you very soon. I'll see you then.